Hey guys, it's Corey from Corey Survival. Today I'm going to be showing you some of my knives out of my knife collection that I think are great knives that you could use in any situation, whether it be a survival situation, hiking, camping, fishing, anything outdoors. And these are also my favorite knives, so I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so when it comes to a knife, um, normally I look for cheap knives. Uh, But the knives that I look for, I always really analyze the blade and figure out whether or not there's any chips or anything minor in it that if I happen to hit it on something, like let's say I'm going to try and chop limbs off a tree, the blade won't break. Um, I'm just going to start real quick with this one. This knife right here, if I remember correctly, I believe I got this knife in Montana when I used to live there. This knife was like $10, but it's a great assist open, as you can see. Uh, it says that it's a mil-spec tactical knife, but a great knife. I carry this one in my pocket. I can use it. It's got a heavier handle, so you can get a really good grip on that. I've used this to whittle with, make feather sticks. I've gutted fish with this knife. Done all sorts of things with this knife. Opened boxes at work with it. I mean, heck, I carry this knife. This is my everyday carry knife. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Assist open knives, or even just open knives. Those are great knives to carry on you on an everyday basis. But when you're trying to find a knife for like a survival situation or for camping, I like to go for a full tang knife. I've got this knife here. It's in a little sheath. Got this as well while I was in Montana. It came in like a tin of 3 different knives for $12. But it's a full tang knife. What full tang means is where the blade runs all the way down through the handle. So when you're holding on to it, you're technically holding on to the blade. And I've noticed that full tang knives normally are the strongest type of blade, and you have way more control with it. And it's normally more balanced. And this knife is lighter than this knife, definitely. This knife could be an everyday carry knife because the blade is short enough, and it does come in this little sheath, so you could just put it right on your side in a little belt. But great survival knife, great for doing awesome outdoor things with. As you can see, the blade's super worn out. I've used this a lot. Also sharpened it quite a bit. So I have another knife here. This one's also a full tang knife. I got this knife for $15 while I was touring around in Keystone, South Dakota. As you can see in the handle, this blade is full tang because the blade runs all the way down to the handle. I have not used this blade at all. Actually no, I have used this. I have gutted a fish with this. I think that was it. But this is more of a collector's knife to me. It's got, I don't know what this part of the blade is called, but it's kind of sharp right in there. It's like serrated kind of, but yeah, it's got that. It's got a nice grip on the handle. I could even choke up on it if I wanted to. It's a great tactical knife. I even got it at a tactical store. So I love that knife. It's like one of my favorite knives ever. So moving away from full tang knives, we're going to be moving to fixed blade knives. I'm going to be showing you an older knife. This is a knife that's been passed down to me from my grandpa. It's a buck knife, and as you can see, it kind of looks like an old tactical knife, like from like Vietnam or something. It's got I think this is a gut. It's like a gut blade or whatever. Like you stick it in and you pull out, and it just opens up the wound. This is a very sharp knife. I've used this knife countless times on countless things, whether it be gunning a deer, uh, gunning a fish, from feather sticks to just chopping. I've chopped I don't know how many trees down with this. Uh, as you can see in the back here, part of the gut blade, a little bit chipped here and whatnot. Yeah, I've used this knife quite a bit. So definitely a really great knife. Now the reason why it's called a fixed blade knife is because the blade, when it goes down to the handle, they actually cut it and make it skinny. So it's actually like a little stick piece. There's like a rod piece of metal in there inside this handle, and they just glue it in there. So that's why that's a fixed blade. I'll actually compare it with this one. So your full tang right here, the blade runs all the way down, and then you got your fixed blade where it comes down and stops. And sometimes it has a bar. Sometimes they just glue the blade on, and it's like a little point in there. They try and wedge it in there any way possible, but that's a fixed blade knife for you. To another fixed blade knife, it's actually a very common fixed blade knife. It's a Mora. A Mora, once again, just like the Budk knife, it's a fixed blade knife, and what this is it comes down and it has a little pin in there that it sits in there. Now the thing about fixed blade knives, they're normally cheaper than full tang knives, but there's a lot of times you can find full tang knives that are super cheap. There's a lot of full tang knives I've actually got in the back that are wrapped in paracord. Like, it doesn't even have a rubber handle or a plastic handle like this. It's got paracord wrapped handle. So it's just a chunk of metal that's got a blade, and it's just wrapped in paracord. I do like fixed blade knives though. They're cheap. They're great to get your hands on. I'm never afraid to get one of these dirty because they're pretty easy just to buy again. I think a Mora, you can get a Mora ranging in between $8 and like $20, I think. So pretty cheap knives, pretty easy to come around. I've gotten I don't know how many fish. That, and I swear this knife is razor sharp right when it comes out of the box, like super sharp. I could sit here if I wanted to and dry shave. But yeah, for the last and final knife, this knife was given to me from a friend that I had back in Montana. As you can see, he did a lot of leather working. He handmade this sheath and put my initials into it. He's a leather worker. He also does. This is actually one of his first knives he's ever made, but this is a deer antler. What he did is he just trimmed off a piece of the deer antler and put it on a piece of leather there, and then actually took the antler and made it into a handle. This blade is a lawnmower blade. Believe it or not, he actually just took apart the lawnmower and just sharpened it and shaped it into what you see here. It's actually very comfortable. I've gutted fish with this. I've actually worked with this knife. It's a very good knife, but I kind of just, I just kind of keep it as a collector now. Kind of a good keepsake, but you can really choke up on the front of here if you really wanted to. Just really choke up on it. Great balance in the handle. I love this knife. There are actually 2 websites I get my knives off of, actually pretty cheap. You can also get super cool survival gear off there. One of the websites is Kadels. Kadels, they've got a box subscription on there. It's called like a monthly subscriber box, or the shit hits the fan box, the SHTF box. It's $15 a month, and you get a box of survival gear. I think one of my boxes I got a machete. So yeah, no kidding, a machete. I'm not I'm not being sponsored by them at all or anything. I just really like their gear. sometimes their stuff can be kind of cheap, but a lot of the times, like I have an axe, all I had to do was just sharpen that blade up, and it's the best axe I have ever had. Seriously. Another website, they're partners with CH Kadels. It's Budk. All these knives, like literally, they're known for selling the cheapest knives in the world. So you go on there and you could find a knife that'll be full tang like this with sheath, and it'll probably be like $10, maybe, you know, $5, just depending. Even survival gear. The survival gear is great. I've got, I don't know how much stuff off that website for survival gear alone. So if you guys like this video, once again, I will leave the description for those websites, or I'll leave the link to those websites in the description below for you guys if you guys want to go check them out. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Comment down below and ask me some questions. Not even ask me questions, but just comment and say hello. I'm always down to say hi. I always do stuff like this about once a week. Well, every week. I always try to get every week. I also do a lot of cool fishing and outdoor adventures. So if you guys are into that type of thing, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you a part of my community. So keep living. Keep fishing, just because I'm going to say that. Keep fishing. I like fishing a lot. So have a good one, guys.